Hey, good morning everybody. BDF 44 coming at you with another video. Feeling pretty good this morning. Of course, woke up out of a crazy dream, as you guys know. I encourage everybody to check out that last therapy session. A little hard to follow. I haven't listened to it myself, but I know I was all over the place at the beginning of the video. But it basically came around to making some sense in the end, I believe. But yeah, man, now it's time to start my day. Gonna grab my bread. You know how I do my routine. Go down to the famous market first instead of going to Target first today. It's gonna get really, really hot very soon. So my intention is to try to get this stuff done early before it starts heating up. And then from there, get back in the room where it's much cooler and wait for that heat to come, because that's exactly what it's gonna be. But yeah, man, feeling pretty good. Hope all you guys are doing well as well. Ain't too much going on my side of town right now other than just the chores of a Saturday morning. And I'm lucky enough, my famous market, from according to Google, it is open, and it opened at 8, so it's like 9:30 right now. I think the heat starts coming in around 1, probably a little earlier than that, probably about noon, but it, for whatever reason, gets significantly hotter around 3 and 4 o'clock. That's when you get the peak heat. So I hope to be all done with everything I'm doing today by then. So yeah, that's what it is, dodging trees. But yeah, man, it's been a really spiritual week. These last couple of days have been rather very spiritual, man. I gotta tell you, with everything that's been going on, I just feel like the Lord is helping me understand some things that maybe I need to understand in order to be at peace with my circumstances. You know, the timing of things is really what it's about, alignment and timing. And just understanding how none of this is a mistake, nothing I got going on. Even the things that I'm doing that feel like I should be doing more, when I look and see how things have panned out, it was never really actually meant for me to do more. You know, in regards to, like, for example, that DPSS thing, I was kind of stressing in the back of my mind. I got a rock in my shoe. Hold up. Get that right. I was stressing in the back of my mind that you know, one of those type of things where I should be calling DPSS and finding out this and that, and I was stressing over it. Like, do I need to? Why haven't I done that? Why haven't I done that? Only to come around Friday morning and realize that the paperwork that was necessary that I've been waiting on was now complete. I never need to make no call for DPSS. It was never, all I was going to do was sit on the phone for an hour and a half waiting for them to take my call, only for them to tell me basically that they would be waiting for my psychiatrist paperwork, which was ultimately coming on Friday. So it was like the notion that I needed to do something else. Yeah, it looked like I needed to do something else, but all I really needed to do was just manage my head. That was it. Manage my mind and put myself in a position to have a peaceful mindset while I waited for the things that needed to be done. And when I had what I needed, then I could do some of the other things that ultimately would need to be done, steps that needed to be taken in order for things to actually align. There wasn't really much for me to do at all. Like, I was a week where I felt like, man, I need to be doing this, and this. It was like, nah, because nothing that ultimately would have been accomplished was set to be accomplished unless that paperwork was in place. And so as I sit here, or stand here rather, getting things done on a Saturday morning, I feel like I'm still aligned with the Lord. It's like, this is what He wants me to do on this day. Go get the stuff that maintains my diet. You know, try to get out as early in the morning. I mean, little stuff, but the point is that it's on time. And that a lot of what I stress about ain't really nothing at all. You don't stress about anything. You just stay prayed up and let the God that you serve align you with what it is that's going to be right for your timing. And so that's what it's about for me right now. It's just disciplining myself against those frustrations, disciplining myself against circumstances that feel wrong, look wrong in regards to what the world is telling me. Like, you got to do this, and this on time, and if you don't, you got to be on top of that, and if not, it's all going to go a certain way. It's like, that's not real. I remember where I stopped walking on this side of the street. This is where all the dirt is. Walk on this side of the street at all. There's a sand. Nothing but sand. I would have to cross the street at some point. I just forgot it was like this. I don't particularly like walking on sand like that, y'all. I'm not a fan of that. Unless I'm on the beach and there's water nearby, as to which I'm probably not wearing shoes. But this is not it. But anyway, so it's like, yeah, to discipline oneself, especially as an overthinker, to not be so focused on what it looks like, but to go into that inner spirit, as we always talk about. This ain't nothing new. And go to that Holy Spirit and ask him what he wants you to do. And see, doesn't he turn whatever it is you're thinking into something that can actually align with what's actually about to happen. And so last night was a big part of that. You know, I was choosing to go to the Lord last night with some of my struggles. And he turned my frustration and what I was thinking about into understanding of alignment. Had me remembering what it is that was ultimately what made me to be, which was the Ethel's passing, my cousin Ethel. And that story my mother told me about many times in my life, about how Ethel funeral was where she met my father. I'm looking at these cactus, look kind of different. Show it to you guys. It doesn't quite have prickles on it, not the type that would hurt. I'm not going to touch it to find out if I'm wrong, but it's little stuff that you see along the way. At any rate, you know, my cousin Ethel, and I was thinking about her. Obviously, if I wasn't meditating, I wouldn't have been thinking about her in any way. I wouldn't have seen how that correlation between what I'm going through with my friend Kay and the timing from which things are happening. I would have never seen how the Lord has always used my existence in some weird way, so to speak. It's always been some coincidence that's been about in my life ever since I was born. And before that, the Lord was using some type of very unique timing with things to align myself being here. And so that when I see timing in regards to my own life, or when I feel confident to speak about that timing, that is to align with that timing. It's no different. And me turning on the camera and feeling compared to talk about the people behind the curtain, as I often talk about, and how they try to manipulate us. It's like that notion is in my heart based on the purpose that was already in place by way of the timing that the Lord aligned me to be here. And so to trust those instincts because they are aligned with that timing, so long as I'm not engaging in energy that is of the devil himself. And I know what that stuff is, what it looks like in my life. And I know I'm staying away from it right now so I can trust my instincts to be aligned with the Lord's timing. And then I can expect the enemy to attack me just the same. Because for everything that you do to him, of course, he's going to swing back. It's a spiritual warfare. So these are the type of things that I was raised to believe. I've seen it come about. I've watched how the Lord has used various different things in my life to help me through the difficulties of my life and ultimately give me content to share with you guys that'll help y'all. And I'm still feeling a rock in my shoe. What the hell? More rocks came into the shoe after that. It's like I stepped on some rocks with my sock or something and brought them to the situation. But anyway, so that's what I'm seeing. It's like, okay, all right. Would you believe there's still some rocks in my... Hold up, man. It's on the bottom of my sock or something. I gotta be. This is ridiculous. I got a whole sandbox in here. It's kind of annoying, man. Are we done yet? Hell no, they're still there. Get out. It's ridiculous, man. All right, let's see if we got that done here. Okay, much better. There's two little pebbles in there that did not want to come out. They just kept rolling back and forth in the shoe. I need some new shoes, man. But anyway, where was I? The point is, God is trying to help me understand that I can trust the timing of my life. I can trust my instincts and all of that, so long as I align with the Lord. And as a result of me doing the right things, the enemy will try to attack me in some ways that would normally be more debilitating. But if you have the armor of Christ on you, armor of God, you ultimately align with what will keep you from letting those things destroy you or even distract you, for that matter. You won't be as distracted It may not feel good that you're being attacked. It may not feel like, you're so protected or what have you, but you give it a few seconds, you keep that prayer in your life, and you will see those enemies won't have those things on you. So that's really what it is. You don't want to have a spirit of evil to pull you away from what is meant for you. You want to have the Spirit of God on you to help you through these attacks, like what I went through last night. Some image that pretended to be my mom was acting like it was trying to more or less kill me and everybody else it could. Basically, more or less, that was the dream I had. But I also know that was an attack on my spirit for something I did in obedience the night before going to sleep, which was meditating, and then from there following what that meditation was telling me to do. And so it's like, yeah, this all sounds crazy to people who don't believe, and that's fine. But just like anything else that people aren't aware of, it doesn't mean that there aren't things going on at the same time while you're doubtful. There's a whole thing happening. There's a whole world taking place around you spiritually that you are not aware of. It doesn't mean that it's not happening. It just means that you don't believe it. You know what I mean? It's just like anything else in this regard. It aligns with something else that I often say. Just because you aren't afraid doesn't mean you aren't in danger. It's many a fearless person in the ground because they didn't heed the warnings. You know what I mean? Just because your mind can't wrap yourself around what it is doesn't necessarily mean it ain't completely taking place. And everything that's going on around it is happening. It doesn't mean, it just means that you ain't privy to it. It just means that you can't feel it. It just means that you were the one that's going to have to come around to believing it in order to survive it. And that's what I've come to understand. It's a lot of people who don't believe in stuff. That don't mean that stuff ain't happening. It was times I didn't believe certain things were happening, and still those things were affecting things going on in my life. You don't have to believe. It's still going down. And that's what I've come to have confidence when I say that. You can't have all these spiritual interests and coincidences take place in your life and then listen to somebody who has doubt and have any credence in your mind to what they're saying. They just don't know what you know. Man, that's kind of how spiritual stuff is when it comes to me at this point. I don't really have time to fight with people who don't believe. You got to come to your own conclusions. Maybe it's not meant for you to believe. But that don't mean that what is proven in my life hasn't already been proven. It just is what it is. And a lot of people may want to fight or battle me about, the God doesn't exist. Okay, fine. But that don't mean he hasn't already proven himself 7 times a day to a person like myself. It's not even about whether or not he exists. We've already been through that. We've been through that for a long time. It ain't even about whether or not I should trust these instincts. We've been having these conversations, and I've seen what I need to see to believe. It's not about that. So it's like, we just got to keep on moving forward in confidence and wait for the Lord to reveal himself to others, and wait for people to understand that they're being used by the enemy in a lot of cases when they don't believe. That's just how it works. And that's essentially what my last therapy session was illustrating, the second half of it. How that works through timing. As I was saying, my friend Kay, I felt like the enemy was using her by making sure she was away at the right times. You know what I mean? When I needed her the most, she was happened to be away. And when I'm doing all right, she's around. That kind of thing. But it's like, as soon as I needed the most, remove. And it's like, you understand that. It's the enemy using timing and various different things to put you in a position to not have what you need. And then from there, what you end up doing a lot of times, if you don't meditate on that, is taking that same energy that's being thrown at you and you respond with it. That revenge energy. That's all it is, or some version of it. I say, okay, I've been treated bad, so let me treat this person bad. Okay, I've been lashed out against, so let me lash back. You know what I mean? That's just giving the enemy 2 swords instead of 1. Now he got you and the person that's weaponizing themselves against you. If you really want to do something, you dull that sword out. You really want to do something, you send love at that energy. Now that don't mean you turn the other cheek and get socked in the face, but it does mean that you duck. You know what I mean? You don't allow yourself to necessarily become a weapon yourself. So that's the discipline. The only way around that is through prayer and meditation. I'm telling you, my natural inclination is to swing back, lash out, be wait for an opportunity to get back at somebody else for whatever it is I feel like they've done to me, and to be the same damn energy that they are. And I think that's what we're taught to do in a lot of cases. In fact, we're taught spinning the block is the only thing we need to be doing. You kill my friend, I gotta kill your friend. You kill my friend, we just keep on going. It's like at some point in time, you gotta realize the enemy doesn't have one sword in that situation. He now has two. You know what I mean? And if that's what you want to be, then why wait for anything? Just go out there and be evil. Why wait for somebody to do something to you? Just go out there and kill. That's what you're gonna do. And so you gotta understand that. At some point in time, we gotta know, if you want to be an enemy, be an enemy. But if you want to be a friend and understand what it takes to do that, you're gonna be having enemies coming at you regardless. But that don't mean that you can move as a enemy yourself in regards to your spirit. If you want to be of God, be of God. But understand that you're gonna be attacked for that. You're gonna be attacked for that. Jonathan Taylor signs 3-year, $42 million extension with the Colts. Congratulations to him and his family. I'm glad it came to an amicable end there. Happy to see generational wealth go into a man's household. You know what I mean? Especially when the holdout wasn't pretty. But you know, this is like anything else, man. I was telling the Lord, you know, why don't you want me to be in a position to capitalize on certain things? Why am I not living a life that allows me to send my loved one on a vacation, $1 million vacations like Jigga and Drake be talking about? And it's like, because that's not your walk. And maybe it will be your walk later on once you see a certain success that you haven't received. But if you don't walk in the spirit of Christ while doing so, you're just going to fall backwards in the progression that you've made in your life. That's what it really comes down to. It's like you can get money, but you can lose spiritual wealth. And that spiritual wealth is not only keep you alive, but keep you awake, so to speak, keep you with the understanding of what's really meant for you. So I think I'll leave the video there since I'm in front of the famous market and get my bread, come back out. I'll let y'all in a minute. BDF 44. Thank y'all for watching.